Good. Welcome. Welcome to the 19th Clarke Prize. It's good to see everybody here. It's a great crowd. We actually have been working all day. This year was the first year we put together a Clarke Prize conference with a Clarke Prize dinner and ceremony. It went very well. I got a lot of good feedback. We had some of our agencies present as well as some of our Clarke Prize recipients. It went very well. I think it'll be something that we try to look to in the future of keeping doing. One of the things that was great about it, not just academics and agency folks, we had a number of students there, and it was a great experience. What that means, it's a long day for us, so I want to get through some introductions here first, and then we'll get right to dinner, and then the program will be after dinner. So, of course, I have to acknowledge some of my board members. Steve Lamar from Irvine Ranch Water District. Welcome. Shivaji Deshmukh. I know you're here. Shivaji from West Basin. Mike Marcus, Orange County Water District. Mike Wayner. Welcome, Mike. Craig Miller from Inland Empire Utility Agency. Thanks, Craig. So we also have some directors of our other agencies, but not on our board. Steve Sheldon from Orange County Water District. Steve, welcome. Piers Swan from Irvine Ranch Water District. Thank you, Piers. I think Piers made every Clarke Prize that we've had. Is that right, Pierre? Mary Eileen Matthias from Irvine Ranch Water District. Mary Eileen, are you here? Oh, she had to leave. Okay. We also have Slyvia Ballin from Metropolitan Water District, but she also is on the California Latino Water Coalition. Sylvia, thank you for coming. It's good to have you here. We also have our loan director from Northern California, Larry Russell. Larry, welcome. Larry is at the Marin Municipal Water District in Marin County. And Bill Mills, he's a board member on the Water Education Foundation. Bill, it's good to have you here again. So we had a great turnout of our Clarke Prize previous recipients. I just want to recognize them as well. Walt Weber from the University of Michigan. Walt. Good to have you here. George Shabanaglas, UC Davis. George. Elimelech from Yale University. Bruce Logan from Penn State. James Barnard, Black and Veatch. Welcome, James. Vernon Snowink, University of Illinois. Welcome, Vernon. Perry McCarty of Stanford. And Bruce Rittman of Arizona State University. I'm not done yet. Evidently, Joan Rose is here from Michigan State. And Jerry Schnorr, University of Iowa. You know, they're on the list. I don't know what I was doing. But I also want to acknowledge Rhodes Trussell. He's on our Clarke Prize Executive Committee. Rhodes, thank you for all your help. Also want to welcome Jim Swinden. Jim, it's good to have you here. Jim is the grandson of athlete Richardson Irvine Clarke and his wife Madeline. It's good to have you here. And so that's all I want to do now, and we'll finish the program after dinner. Thank you. Okay, well, this is the 19th annual Clarke Prize. And for those of you who haven't been here before, the Clarke Prize was named in honor of athlete Richardson Irvine Clarke, who was one of NWRI's co-founders over 20 years ago. And the Clarke Prize was set up to recognize exceptional water research. And what I'd like to do tonight is have Elimelech of Yale come up to do the introduction of this year's recipient. Menny?
Ladies and gentlemen, Clarke and John Irvine Smith and Athalie Clarke Foundation. As Jeff indicated, I am Elimelech from Yale University, and it's my great pleasure to introduce the recipient of the 2012 Clarke Prize, Professor Pedro Alvarez. I would like since 2005, Pedro made really important contributions to water pollution control through some pioneering work in two areas. One of them is bioremediation. For those of you who are not scientists, this is how engineering microbes to do magic things like treating water, wastewater, and soils, contaminated soils, and also environmental nanotechnology that you will hear a lot in his talk, these very small, tiny particles that can do magic in treatment technologies, but also we need to worry what's happened when they end up in the waters that we will be drinking sometime. So his research is quite diverse. He covered a lot of areas, but all in all, it's all on the leading edge of technology and discovery rather than just refinement. I will say now a few things about Pedro that you cannot find on the internet, online, things that I was able to get from people, including Pedro. So Pedro left Nicaragua when he was 16 in 1974, went to St. Michael's College in Vermont to study English, according to Pedro. And then he crossed the border to Canada and went to McGill University, got his undergraduate degree in civil and environmental engineering. After the degree, he came to California, worked for Tetra Tech, and this is the place that he met his wife, Adela. And after 4 years, he went back to academia, to University of Michigan, took some classes from Walt Weber, which is a very well-renowned professor in Michigan, and then went on to the University of Iowa as a faculty position. And we have people here from Iowa, Rich Valentine and Jerry Schnur, that can say even a few things about him. Now, how Pedro was interested in water. So I did some research, and also I asked him, I'll tell you now a story that probably you remember this story than his record of publication and research and so on. So according to Pedro, the way he was interested in water, in his hometown of Masaya in Nicaragua, when he was only 4 or 5, he saw these children, older people, children playing with water balloon. And he said, okay, I can maybe think about something else. So he took some linen handkerchief and he tried to fill it in the faucet with water. Of course, the experiment did not work. I think Pedro in those days did not know much about Darcy's law or permeability of some materials. But as scientists, we always know when something doesn't work, you always find something else. And what we found, that once he filtered it through this handkerchief, he saw a lot of dirt accumulating on the handkerchief. And immediately, according to Pedro, he ran to his grandfather. And his grandfather was a medical doctor, so immediately he saw this dirt and he knew the connection between, dirty water and disease. So he called immediately the mayor of the city, which was just happened to be the next door neighbor. So Pedro at that time that saw, how his father was excited and so on, and realized that something is very, very important, and this, according to Pedro, how he really decided to stay and work in water. And so, again, he started his first experiment at the age of 5, and since then he never stopped doing very, 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 cutting-edge experiments. So it's very, very, very interesting stories. So I would like now just to conclude, because I was asked to do it very short, with some quotes that I got from 2 people who wrote letters for him. As you know, to get the Clarke Prize, there is a lengthy nomination, and you need some reference letters. So I would like to give 2 quotes from people who wrote letters for him that indicate some of the other aspects of Pedro beyond just being a great scientist. And also I will give a quote from a faculty member from his department, a young faculty member, tell you more about his mentoring skills. So I will start with the first quote from Bruce Logan that wrote the letter. We discovered who wrote the letter for you, and now you know. But it's not a secret. And Bruce Logan is also one of the Clarke Prize laureates. So Bruce writes, Another unique aspect of Pedro's work among environmental engineers and water scientists is his focus on outreach to foreign scientists, notably in Latin America. Pedro has traveled widely and has contributed to the mentoring and development of scientists and researchers in parts of the world that are infrequently included in collaborations with water researchers. So indeed, I know Pedro for a long time, and I know that Pedro travels a lot. Probably his family realize it. And he told me today that he has at least 200,000 miles every year. But all of it is for good things. He really does enormous service for our profession. I've not seen any, at least environmental engineering professor, who do so much service for the profession. I would like to have the other quote from Joan Rose, another Clarke Prize laureate. She's sitting someplace here, this tall lady there. And so it's another personal story. I must also tell a personal story. After Hurricane Katrina, with another strong storm looming off the coast, I was stuck in Houston without a hotel or any place to go. I called Pedro. He and his wife opened their home to me. There is no doubt that he would go the extra mile for any colleague. And lastly, I would like to conclude with a quote from a junior faculty from his department. Again, Pedro is a department chair and also a mentor. And this faculty says, Pedro sets a great example as an outstanding researcher with a grand vision, creativity, and rigor, a leader who inspires, not instructs, and a caring mentor who is more a friend than a senior. So congratulations, Pedro, for this very, very well-deserved award.
Pedro, come on up. Jim, can you come up, and we'd like for you to present the award.
I wanted to say just a few words. Many of you know about our family, but those of you who don't, our family's been involved in the county since 1860, and water has been an extremely important part of the development of this area, and particularly of the Irvine Ranch. My mother and my grandmother, who founded the National Water Research Institute, really felt very strongly about water. And my mother, who is not here this evening, obviously is here in spirit, and I know that many of you know her, and she sends her greetings, and she's doing well, and she would love to be here, and she applauds all the wonderful, wonderful things that everybody in this room is doing, and not just the laureates, but the researchers and everybody in the water industry. At this time, I'd like to also recognize my brother, Morton Irvine Smith, and his lovely wife, Mary Ann. And the young lady to my right is their daughter, Toni. And I felt that it was important that the young people, as they develop and understand these things, that they take ownership, and because they're the next generation that hopefully will continue what we are trying to accomplish here, and also their responsibilities and how they perceive their environment and what they're going to do with it. So I'm glad that she is here. But Dr. Pedro Alvarez, on behalf of the Joan Irvine Smith Atlee R. Clarke Foundation, I am pleased to award you the 2012 Clarke Prize, and we are extremely pleased that you're here and marvel at your accomplishments, and we look forward to the next steps and what you're going to do in the future.
Thank you so much.
I was going to do that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, you want that? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sylvia, can I ask you to come up? Slyvia Ballin, if you remember, is with the California Latino Water Coalition, and she would like to make a presentation of a letter of recognition.
I can't believe it, only in Newport Beach. My grandmother's name is Fernanda, and your daughter's name, Fernanda. Only in Newport Beach. How would that? Anyway, it is an honor to be able to represent the California Water Latino Coalition and its foundation at this ceremony honoring Dr. Pedro Alvarez and the work that he has accomplished. Our coalition and foundation, representing and working on the behalf of the Latinos and other Californians, have much in common with Dr. Alvarez. We are great supporters of education and positive work in search of ways to resolve our state's water challenges and make life better. Most importantly, as our chairman, Entertainment Paul Rodriguez, and I noted in our letter congratulating Dr. Alvarez, your accomplishments are an inspiration to millions of Latinos and cannot help but assist in motivating young Latino women and men to pursue higher education into professional careers as innovators, scientists, mathematicians, and engineers. Latinos are all too often the first segment of society injured and among the last to recover when things go wrong. And I might add, in Mendota and Central Valley has 40% unemployment rate. That has certainly been true with impacts of California's water crisis, harming the social and economic well-being of tens of thousands of Latinos. The respected research and work of Dr. Alvarez to better control water pollution is a major step in the right direction for every Latino and all Americans. The California Latino Water Coalition and Foundation are proud to join in saluting and honoring Dr. Pedro Alvarez, whom we congratulate in receiving the 2012 National Water Research Institute Clarke Prize for Excellence in Water Research. Congratulations. Photoshop, please.